Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek. We're talking lowbrow humor, and it's my favorite humor. We are talking fart jokes. We are talking burp jokes. We are talking private jokes. Yeah.
Surely you jest.
I'm not sure. Don't call me Shirley. We will have a lot of inside jokes, which I think just about every listener to the show will know every single one of them. Yeah, this genre is so well known. Let me introduce you to our panel real quick. I'm Dub. I do stuff. I'm here with John from California. If I have to do it that way. I'm here with Todd, and I'm here with Skeeter. How you guys all doing today?
Awesome. Bueno.
Bueno. Because you had Del Taco this morning, right?
Because I'm the
Yes, we did that.
So
Oh, did anybody mention him on our lists? Because that dude is he is what lowbrow is.
dude,
You did?
Pauly Shore
Okay.
all day.
Okay,
All day.
outstanding.
That's my guy.
Today's show is brought to you by Fake Vomit and Whoopee Cushions. Yeah,
Whoa.
proving that we are all still perpetually 9 years old because we still laugh at it.
Fart.
Still, yes,
Fart.
Yes.
every time.
No, these movies are fantastic because these movies are what makes us a kid again. It proves that we didn't grow up at all. And that's why I'm so excited to talk about this topic. Now, you may have noticed for the first time in about a year, there's no girls on because this is a boys club. This is He-Man's Woman Haters Club today. No, it's not.
Well, except for Dub.
Well, we don't judge on this show. So I want to real quick before we start, go on your YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That helps us out more than anything in the world. You see this t-shirt? If you're watching on YouTube, we have 2 of these so far on our website. Go to www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the com. We paid extra for it. Go down to the shop button and you can click on whichever picture. They're unisex shirts and they're really freaking cool. And we got actually a female only V-neck that's going to be making its appearance hopefully this week. So we got lots of stuff coming for y'all, and we appreciate it when you guys can support the show. We made it as affordable as possible. And go to our Facebook, Twitter, Discord, anything else that we're talking about. Okay, now let's get on with the show. So let's talk about kind of the parameters of today's topic. At first I was thinking, okay, so no, we're just talking, fart joke movies. But I think this topic deserves more than a fart joke. This is slapstick is involved and just the subtle art of not being subtle at all. I think it was the best way of defining this.
Oh, the fart jokes in specific goes back a long time in cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Inspector Clouseau in the original Pink Panther movie gets into an elevator with 4 guys and you hear,
which still makes you laugh.
Everybody's looking around like, hell, come unglued, man. You can't help it.
Yeah.
But how about like with today's culture, in our PC culture?
Yeah, we're gonna tiptoe on this, but yes, I 100% agree. Most of these movies that we're gonna talk about and we love could not be made today.
Oh no.
Now we're not going to we're not judging anything on that, but we are going to enjoy that moment in our lives that we really did enjoy these. So, to answer the question, I guess we would call this silly humor is kind of what we've opened this up to.
Pretty much anything Mel Brooks has ever made.
Yeah, well, I think we've done that show before, but yeah, it's definitely along those lines.
My significant other refers to it as idiot humor or those dumb movies that you watch.
Well,
yeah,
this show was originally titled Dumb Comedies, so we didn't want to insult anybody, but let's be honest, that's what they are. They are lowest common denominator
They're
humor.
not winning any Oscars.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You don't always want to go to a movie and be just blown away. You want to laugh and be mindless. And I think there's an important section of our entertainment field that needs this. Otherwise, it just goes too far off the rails and everything's clear as heart.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie, but this is just the antithesis of everything that's dramatic and, and there is no subtext to it. None. And that's awesome. Okay, so let's talk first. What is the first time you watched a movie, knew it was lowest common denominator humor, and still laughed your butt off anyway and loved the movie? Let's start with John on this one.
Honestly, that's all I used to watch.
But when you realized that it was dumb,
When I
that's an
realized
important
it,
question.
I don't think I ever really fully realized it until I was an adult. I just thought they were just funny movies. As a kid and a teenager, just like, oh, this is fun. I'm going to enjoy it. It makes me laugh. This is the kind of humor that I enjoy.
Fair enough. What about you, Skeeter?
Oh my goodness.
Let's see if we have the same one.
Going way back. I mean, to childhood time, picking up stuff that I would watch with, like my dad. So I'm gonna go like Stripes.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, like I remember Stripes when I was a kid. Like, not a movie that a kid should be watching because of John Larroquette with the binoculars. I mean, I was like, whoa, what is happening right now? But
hey, Dad, where's the pause button?
Yeah, like that Stripes on Showtime or whatever channel it was on, that one always like hits that place with me. Cause like even growing up, like we always found ourselves like you'd be out running or out for a jog and you'd be like, there she was just a walking down, like that was your cadence. Like what the heck? But yeah, for me, it was always Stripes was the first one I can remember.
Fair enough. Todd?
Well, since I'm significantly older than pretty much everybody on this show,
it's still
me, it was right around 1970 with the Benny Hill Show.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first time that we as a culture watched, as an American culture, watched this British TV show with cross-dressing and nobody was offended by it. Oh, this is hilarious.
And honestly, it was sexually inappropriate towards women.
You think?
Fart jokes, poke in the eye jokes, slapstick. I mean, really stupid humor, but my God, was it good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think like in that whole piece, like the slapstick stuff that came from that, like think about like the Three Stooges and that kind of comedy all stuck together, and then Benny Hill added this whole like new level. He brought the sexuality into it, and you were like, ding,
boobs.
Yeah, literally, like, ooh, like, I thought that guy did it right, and I mean, that didn't like Benny Hill, like, didn't when he passed, he was like, he had money everywhere.
Yeah,
like, he never spent money.
Dude, he lived in the same apartment that he first got when he first moved out from his parents' house. He lived in that apartment his entire life. He never owned a car or a driver's license. He was a weird dude.
Yeah,
but boy,
dude,
he was funny.
Right. Funny.
There's something about that recluse personality that gets this humor before anybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
Or knows how to tell that joke, I guess you want to say.
But even when he was in his, 60s, he still had that naughty little 4-year-old boy look on his face when he was doing real humor.
Well, I think now they would have diagnosed and put him on medication, and we wouldn't have gotten the brilliance of Benny Hill.
No,
probably.
No. And that's sad. I'm not judging, but yeah.
I think about that kind of comedy, like, I mean, that reclusiveness that Benny Hill had, like, how many of us watch some of the funniest movies, like, by ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
because
the funny stuff that we're going to talk about
you don't want to admit that you're watching it.
Right? It's that guilty pleasure comedy. I think that's every website that I looked up when I was doing research said guilty pleasure comedy.
How appropriate.
I don't think honestly though, I don't feel guilty about most of these choices now that I'm an adult. When I was a kid, because I was watching for different reasons. I was watching for what John Larroquette was watching Stripes when I was a kid. Now I watch it because Bill Murray is a freaking comic genius.
Yes.
You grow into being that immature.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
You do.
I only watch these by myself because I'm the only one in my house that appreciates them.
Once again, this is why we only have males on this episode. So my first one was Naked Gun. That's when I realized this is ridiculously stupid, and I love every second of it. Everywhere I go, something reminds me of her. And there's the two big domes. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
That's a nice beaver.
Thanks, I just had it stuffed. Yeah, this is not dirty if you watch the movie, people. Get your minds out of the gutter.
Right.
That's a pretty big if, Dub.
And he, from what I understand, he was another recluse, was Leslie Nielsen. He didn't get along well with people. He wasn't a jerk to people, but he didn't. Yeah.
I think he was too smart for them, and he didn't appreciate other people's stupidity around him.
Yeah, that dude was
My point
super genius.
Sort of.
Well, it's that whole thing that was it like the torture of like growing up is what brings out the comedy in people. It's like the misery loves comedy.
Yeah.
If you guys ever saw that, I think it was Kevin Pollak did that documentary about like basically all these like comedians. They either had like alcoholic dad or were abused or something like that. And it was always like born out of this like thing to like, okay, this is how I get other people to be happy around me because I'm trying to control the darkness.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Interesting. Serious trauma creates a need for an outlet.
Well, you read any of the biographies from any of the comedians we're going to talk about today, and they were all horrible. There isn't one my mom and dad were together and they loved me very much and they supported me until I, while I went to create my comedy career. None of the books say that. Not even one of them.
Dub just described the book that will never be.
Okay, so here's the question. Why does this type of comedy stick with so many people for so many years after you watch it? Like, for instance, I haven't watched Naked Gun in 15 years, and we're just quoting lines like we just watched it yesterday. Why do these movies stick so much? And I have a theory about it, but let me talk to you guys first on that. John, why do you think that is?
I think it's because it's just easy to remember. I mean, I don't know. Like we're always like quoting like movie lines. It's always the stuff that I guess maybe it's also because it's like the thing that makes you just laugh out loud, and so it sticks with you. It's like that sense memory.
Yeah.
You have that like, oh, I was enjoying myself a lot, and this is what makes me happy. And so like you tend to remember that stuff a lot easier.
That's fair. Skeeter?
Quotables. That's what it's about. For me, it's about the quotable things. Thinking like, I mean, go to, Dumb and Dumber, the things that they said, like all the time. My wife says, pullover or sweater or something like that. And I'm like, no, it's a cardigan. Thanks for noticing, but the quotable lines from these movies that we remember, that we say over and over again, that stick in our heads. If I say we're men
and tights,
right?
And we
go right
sued.
to it immediately, right? We run to those things. The memories that we have watching them, Tommy Boy, Chris Farley, Stripes as a child, Benny Hill, whatever it is, we have those things that stick in our brain and they put a smile on our face without even considering it. Mm-hmm. So,
Todd, what's your thoughts on this, bud?
Well, a lot of it has to do with what makes you laugh, produces endorphins, makes you feel good when you laugh. So, we look back on these ridiculous movies, Airplane, Dumb and Dumber, all these wildly ridiculous movies. And we remember how good we felt while we were giggling like crazed hamsters. I mean, it's something that your body craves.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that first and foremost, it makes you feel good to laugh. But I think I'm really on board with Skeeter's thing about the quotable aspect of it. Some things just land in your mind and just set a fish hook there, and it never goes away.
Yeah.
Like when we started the show and I said, Shirley, you jest. That's straight out of Airplane, man.
Yeah.
Couldn't help myself.
I have a theory, and it's what we already discussed, but because these movies truly are at the basest part of our personality, farts are funny. If somebody throws up, that's funny. There is no subtext. There is no levels. It is primal, and it is everything that, a million years of evolution says, this is the building block, everything else. So there's something about that just sticks with you forever, because that's just who we are as a species. That's what I think there might have been something about, the breeding factors went on. Oh, somebody farted. We're going to walk that way and not breed with that one. And so it was a funny thing. I know I'm stretching a little bit, but I think it's just that base level of our species, that's why These
You
stick with
think
us
it's a
till we die.
genetic trait to giggle at fart jokes?
I think it is.
You haven't seen the cave paintings of farts and cavemen laughing?
The stick man bent over like that with little lightning bolts.
There's like a cloud behind him.
I've seen it, yeah. Gross. Okay, so here's another important
Smells like
question.
pterodactyl.
Ooh. When we're talking about, that line on, the lowbrow humor versus this is wrong humor, where is that line?
Non-existent.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
That guy that makes mistakes and shoots himself through the head with the arrow, that's pretty funny.
Wow, that went dark. See, to me, that's my line where I have a dark sense of humor, let's be honest. Most of us do. But if someone's getting hurt, that's when it bothers me. If it's play acting, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, but see, that's the point about humor.
Hurt somebody.
Yeah, that's the point about humor. 99% of it, somebody or something is going to be the butt of that joke. So somebody's going to be emotionally traumatized anyways. Back to the matter.
I think like some of the hardest parts for me, like where the line gets drawn is like with parody movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think, when you try to take something that was used in a movie that's hyper serious or, that something like that. So not another teen movie.
Yeah.
So the end of the movie, like you got Molly Ringwald, you've got this whole Pretty in Pink situation, but you've got this Jake Ryan character from like 16 Candles, and you have all these like situations where when we were kids, it drew out this heart feel. They tried to turn it around and make it like obnoxiously funny. When they push it too far, that's where it's like, come on,
put the brakes on.
Like, yeah. You're like, slow down a little bit and find a way to make that funny. It's tough.
I think there is a line.
How about on what's that Ryan Reynolds with his new superhero?
Deadpool?
Oh,
Deadpool. How about at
that
the
new
very
guy,
end of Deadpool when he goes back to Hitler's crib and it says maximum effort? Is that too far?
Yeah. I thought that was.
Funny.
Oh. I feel like there's a line and you don't know it till after you've hit it.
Right. But that's the thing.
Like some of the line that you need
to
avoid is when it's intentionally trying to be mean and harmful. That's when it's no longer funny. Like it's not like, oh, I'm taking the piss out of somebody. It's now I'm trying to actually hurt that person.
Yeah, because that's sociopathic, which we might have a little bit in us, let's be honest. Well, especially Todd, because he laughs at the guy that shot himself with the arrow. Yikes.
Everybody laughs at Schadenfreude, though.
Everybody laughs at what's his name getting hit by Chevy Chase in Vacation. What every time he sees him, he runs him over, hits him with a door, or does something. That
Eric
injury
Idle,
comedy. With Eric Idle, that's funny. Think of what's that movie Bridesmaids, right? When they all go to the Indian restaurant or the Brazilian barbecue. And they leave the Brazilian barbecue and go try on bridesmaids dresses, and everybody gets food
explosive
poisoning.
Diarrhea.
Yeah, like my wife dies during that part because it's hilarious.
I'm glad you finished that sentence with that.
But it's like, at what point are you like, that's borderline disgusting, but it's kind of funny, like how it all ends. I don't know. It's there. You have to find that line. I guess you create it for yourself. Like, what is your personal line as opposed to what is the general line for everybody? Because they push it.
Yeah.
In these new parody movies, they push it real good.
Hard. Yeah.
But, well, even like, let's go way back. The Three Stooges at the time, they were pushing it.
Oh, yeah.
Huge. And they did pay a lot of consequences for that with their health and all that other stuff. But they definitely pushed that line before anybody pushed it. So I think they were the ones who helped find the line. Marx Brothers, yep. Yeah. Wow, I'm going down old memory lane because this is way before I was born now. So let's move on and let's go talk about our listener feedback.
And now, let's see what all of our geek rock stars have to say.
So for today's listener feedback, since none of the girls are on, I am stuck reading the listener feedback. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I really am.
I hope they use small words in their input.
They did a few. So luckily for me, I picked some like that. Okay, first up we had Herb Sanders. Hey Herb, how you doing, bud? He said The Mask. Jim Carrey is in prime form. Do I need to say more? And I'd say yes, you need to say more, but I threw that one on anyway. Andy Trudell said, I'm a huge sucker for Hot Tub Time Machine, which is one I forgot about. The jokes are clever and the stuff they didn't even explain, but you still laugh. Not to mention their great explanation of time travel. They actually did a really good job on that. And finally, Kimberly Romaine, Kung Pao, Dumb and Dumber, Dodgeball, and The Ringer are all in the running for my number one spot. My number one spot. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I'd have a hard time choosing between them. One of these are quoted on average at least once a week or more. And I can't laugh at them all. Then I'm not sure that we can really be friends. Fair enough. Thank you, everybody, for putting in your listener feedback. I did pick shorter ones this week, but usually we don't do that. So make yours one of the longer ones. Because, usually we have someone better than myself to read these. So thank you all for writing, and I do appreciate it. Now let's jump on to our main event.
Now it's time for the main event.
Okay, so for this version of the main event, we said, what are our top 5 dumb humor movies of all time? And I know we have movies. Actually, I think we said creations of any genre. That's what we said. Oops, I think I would have blown up Todd's list there on that one.
Very much so.
So my number 5, I just changed it out, and I'm going to go with Scary Movie. The regular movie Scream movies were ridiculous, and then to take that ridiculous movie and make it a satire with that just lowbrow humor, I felt like that was actually better than Scream.
To take such a serious concept and take it so not seriously was brilliant.
Yeah, and because Scream was not scary. I don't think it was a fun little mystery teen.
It was suspenseful.
It was fun, but I feel like the Scary Movies actually did a better job of it.
You didn't think Don't Be a Menace to South Central, Drinking Your Juice in the Hood did a better job of making fun of a serious genre?
I wanted to say that, but because I didn't want someone to punch me in the face, I didn't pick that one.
I think they did a better job like that, and I'm Gonna Get You Sucker did a better job of just doing good lowbrow comedy.
Yes, some of those originals. John, what is your number 5, sir?
My number 5 is Happy Gilmore. The Price is Wrong. I'm just kidding.
Don't make me pull out the guitar.
I know, that's why I self-censored.
Thank you.
I like the TV censor. The Price is Wrong, Bobby.
Right.
But yeah, Happy Gilmore. I laughed so hard on that. I think I actually enjoyed that better than Billy Madison.
Wow.
You hit that lady. She shouldn't have been standing there.
That's a fact.
Dude.
You can trouble me for a warm glass of shut the hell up.
Skeeter?
My number 5 is Caddyshack.
Oh.
Classic. Bill Murray, sublime.
Yep. Keeping it real. Chevy Chase's role in that movie. Just amazing. Rodney Dangerfield. Anything that dude was in.
How'd you like to make $6 the hard way?
Yeah, right. I mean, tell the chef this is low grade dog food. Everything about it. I love that movie, especially the caddy day at the pool.
Get in the hole, yeah.
Duty in the pool.
Todd?
When he eats the Snickers bar and then the woman faints.
Well, my number 5 is an easy choice for me. The Three Amigos.
Oh,
yes. You get those 3 guys together: Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short.
brilliance.
You have a recipe for ridiculous.
Yeah. I would love to have been in the room. Not say a word, because I'd feel like
how they got through half of their lines without just dying in laughter is beyond me.
Well, you know that those guys challenge each other on that kind of stuff too.
Oh yeah.
They try to go as outlandish as possible just to get a reaction. And if they don't get a reaction, they're going to try harder next time. I promise you that.
Dude, it's a mail plane. How can you tell? Can't you see the little balls?
Yeah. Wow.
My kind of movie, left to right.
Outstanding.
Would you say I have a plethora of piñatas? Yes. Sí, guapo.
Sí, guapo.
You have a plethora of piñatas.
Nice.
Memorable lines.
Yeah.
Quotables.
Now, my number 4 has the most quotable lines, but I didn't put it number 1 because I did not want to put this on my list. Because to me, it's not dumb humor. In fact, it's very intelligent humor, but it's still so lowbrow, and that is Monty Python's Search for the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
I fought myself over this one because I don't know that it's so brilliant and smart, so that's why I didn't want to put it on this list. But at the same time, I mean, but I want to be tempted. I mean, everything about this is just brilliant.
Well, you can have lowbrow humor that's also intelligent, though, too. I mean, if you look at the TV show Frasier, that was supposed to be like this highbrow comedy, but really, it's a lot of slapstick in there in that show. For something that's supposed to be kind of like hoity-toity, they do a lot of like dumb humor in it, and you can do that.
A lot of mental fart jokes, yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely right.
Okay, John, what about you?
My number 4 is Hot Rod. I love that movie. It's so dumb, but it's like the fact that he goes like he's all pissed off, like I'm gonna go dance it out, and it's literally like shot for shot Footloose, like dancing in the warehouse.
He punch dances out his aggression in the best way.
And then when he trips and falls, and like he falls for a really long time.
Yep. That movie is there's 2 things that my son and I will watch over and over, and it's Psych and Hot Rod. Like that's our movie. That's our jam.
Well, I think we just kind of answered what makes these really funny is the exaggeration levels.
Oh my goodness.
And I think that's something we didn't hit on, but that's a great example of the exaggeration. Somebody falls down the stairs, somebody falls down 100 stairs, that's hilarious. It's the exaggeration level.
It's funny, then it stops being funny, and then it goes back to being funny.
Yeah. Skeeter, what is your number?
Number 4 for me, Carrie Yule's one of the greatest musical, non-musical comedies, Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Outstanding. You can't argue with that one.
I am a sneeze, father of a Jew.
Yes. Bless you.
Wow.
No, what? Yeah. That
Did you say Abe Lincoln?
Abe Lincoln? Did you say Abe Lincoln? That movie, everything about it. Quotables to the story. From now going forward, all the bathrooms will be known as
John.
I mean, dude, nothing better than Patrick Stewart.
I have a mole.
That movie, you still laugh.
Yeah. No, everything about that movie is hilarious.
Just perfect.
Good call, Skeeter.
Odd.
All right, well, this is going to be... Dub will probably find this a little unusual until a little bit of thought into it, but Uncle Buck.
Oh, great.
John
I like the movie, but...
There's some slapstick.
Well, yeah, there's some slapstick.
Watch the movie again. The level of comedic brilliance that John Candy puts into this is amazing. The first time I ever watched it, I was like, it's kind of funny, I guess. Second time I watched it, I could not believe how good it was and how deep the humor went. And most of it is, like John said, it's exaggeration and, putting idiocy in important situations and making it work.
But that was John Candy, though. Like, that dude was just comedy all the time. It didn't matter if he was being serious. Look at Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Even when he's serious, you laugh.
Even in serious moments, you laughed. Like, so my sophomore year, like, we went to Oregon to see, like, to meet him up at his ranch. And that dude just was hilarious. He lived his life funny. Like, you had to laugh. And that's how That's how he was. Even in every movie, even up to Wagons East or Wagons West, when he was at the end.
East, yeah.
You know, he didn't know he was at the end, but it was just comedy.
Dude,
like raw.
Spaceballs.
Oh, Spaceballs, barf. I mean,
I'm a
every
mug,
role.
half man, half dog.
I'm my own best friend.
Del Griffith, like, all the way to Buck Melanoma Head. I'm Molly Russell's wart, her tumor. I'm her growth.
And it was hilarious, but it was a lot more subtle than what we would expect, honestly.
Yeah.
He's not like Chris Farley and he doesn't just put it out there. He was definitely his own thing.
He was as subtle as he needed to be, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, he came from Second City TV, which was a very small comedy troupe in
Canada.
Chicago.
Oh, Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of those guys came down from Chicago.
From Chicago?
Into that, or down from Canada into Chicago for that. You know,
Yeah, I always thought they were Canadian, but that's just me.
Well, you had, I think it was the Chicago was like the second part, like because
was Second City.
It started in Toronto and then it moved.
Toronto was
Chicago.
SCTV. That was the difference.
Yep.
Okay. So, Todd, I believe it's your turn.
Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck. Yes, that was your turn. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so my next one up, number 3, is a movie that you might have seen and might not. This is the movie that licks the line. I'm just saying, movie 43. If you've ever seen this movie, it's so close to the line on the whole movie. It's hilarious. It's a bunch of just skits put in together. Huge A-list actors just making let's see, what word can I use? Just fools of themselves throughout this, and it is brilliant. It was really overlooked. 43? Movie 43. I highly recommend looking it up. This movie could not be made today. I will put it that way. Don Cheadle's in it, and Hugh Jackman's in it, and Kate Winslet's in it. I mean, it is a who's who of at that time.
Wow.
Chris Pine is in it. Anna Faris. I mean, and yes, you want to talk about poop jokes? Yes, there's a whole scene of it that will make you want to vomit. It is. Yeah, I just, if you watch this movie and you liked it, we can definitely be friends. I'm not saying that's a prerequisite. You need to see this movie. John, what is your number 3, sir?
My number 3 is Jackass. There's just something about.
I never got into
the original one.
Yeah, well, just all of them, honestly. But I mean, like it was not necessarily supposed to be like a slapstick movie or whatever, or a TV show. But it was such just dumb humor every single time, and it was great.
I do want to say this. There's a reason why I didn't like that, though. And I think this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. When this came out, I was a youth pastor, and my kids would be seeing this and doing this stupidity all the time because they thought it was great. And it was too real. That's why I didn't like it, because all these kids were doing this and getting genuinely hurt. I mean, that's why they had the every 10 seconds on that show, do not attempt this. It was too real. And that's, I think, for me, I'm not saying it is for you, but for me, that's where my line is.
Quit judging me.
I'm not judging any. That's just why I personally didn't get into that. But I'm sure everybody else in this panel loved it.
Well, I mean, come on. You've got Steve-O in a freaking outhouse being like launched into the air with like a slingshot and just watching everything fly all over him. And then he gets out like retching, like
understandable.
It would too. Skeeter, what is your number 3?
So my number 3, I went with I probably had 7 different number 3s in there, but my number 3 I stuck with Strange Brew.
Ooh, there's a rat in my beard, eh?
Quality.
Hey, you're a hoser. Hey, hoser.
Honestly, and it's
Save
so
a beer for Dad, hoser.
It was so Canadian, and none of us understood that at the time when we watched that. But this is Canadian. I'm like, I can dig this Canadian thing. It's a different sense of humor, and that's why I really enjoyed it. I think
they're like the British white trash.
Yeah,
no, it's literally the Canadian humor. So like Canadian comedy. I don't know. There's I think there was a show is either Red Buttons or Red Flannel. I can't remember what it was, but it was absolutely like it was like Tool Time or whatever that show was with Tim Allen.
Okay,
like
yeah.
his actual Tool show.
Oh, nice.
Or This Old House. You know, but it was straight comedy the whole time. Like this dude is falling off ladders. He's, you know, stupid stuff, and he's doing these stupid things on purpose just to get a laugh.
Todd, what is your number? What do we have? 3?
My number 3 is a show that actually started 1 year before my birth, but it was such a classic.
1921?
Easy there. But it was such a classic that I locked onto it as a kid, and I watched it until it finished, and that's Gilligan's Island.
Good one.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I didn't even think of that, but
situation. Yeah. Slapstick humor, ridiculous situations. And what can I say? Their humor was perfect for the times. They even had a modicum of sexuality with Ginger and Marianne, but it wasn't overt.
No.
What about
But they
Mrs.
could've done
Howell?
that.
Come on, bro.
Oh. You got the gilf thing going. Okay. Let's go.
Peter likes Golden Girls.
Let's go up to number 2. My number 2 is a movie that me and Skeeter could probably talk about for about 6 hours. Wayne's World. Yes, that is not
Wayne's
2.
World.
2 sucked. 2 should have never been made.
Never.
1 was probably one of the most perfect lowbrow comedies ever made. It didn't rely on bottom of the barrel stuff, but it was silly and funny. And, you know, I think we were freshmen when Wayne's World came
Probably
out. Somewhere in
close.
there.
College?
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, because I drove. It was the end of our freshman year
Yeah.
because I was driving.
Yeah. So it was like for that age, it was, I don't know if it stands up now because I'm kind of afraid to watch it at this point because I don't want the magic to be gone. Because after I watched
Wayne's
I'm
World
like,
came
"Ugh."
out in 92.
Oh, so we were sophomore.
Yeah. It was, yeah, because we were driving. I was driving. I know
Yeah.
that.
I was,
But I was driving our freshman year.
so yeah. What did you guys think of Wayne's World? Do you think it stands up still?
I watched
Love
it
it.
a couple weeks ago. It's literally still just as amazing as it was back then. I mean, you don't have the people around you that you watched it with, but like still like that movie defined our friendship. It
It
literally, you know, from our beginnings to where we are today, like it's still that movie was that.
It was important.
Love, like just like there's certain movies that are sacred, and
Yeah.
that
This
one
is
is
one of
one of
them.
them.
And
That conversation they had while leaning against the windshield at the airport.
we
yeah.
wanted to do that so bad. We
Oh,
really
yeah.
did.
If she was
That-
a president, she'd be
be
Abraham Lincoln.
Come on. Just, I mean, it was just terrible writing, but it was brilliant at the same time. I don't know how that works like that.
How many
Yeah, that's-
times have you heard Bohemian Rhapsody and you just start doing the headbanging?
Dude.
Well, they even mentioned that in the Queen biopic.
Oh yes.
Nobody's going to be bouncing their head to operatics. And that was Mike Myers.
And
I
that
know, which was just
Mike
brilliant.
Myers, which was I almost cried.
Yeah. So just FYI, anybody that does come to my birthday, if you come, you've been invited. We will watch Wayne's World on my birthday. Yeah.
When is that happening? Please.
We
let
will
me know.
talk about that after the
Yes,
show.
please. Dude, yes.
Wendell
John.
doesn't want just random people showing up at the house.
Well, I might, but you know, hey, John, what is your number 2?
My deuce is The Ringer. I love that movie so much.
You had to throw in a deuce joke. Awesome.
Yes.
Hello,
Perfect.
it's Lowbrow Comedy.
It is.
Nice.
But no, and it's a movie that is not a deuce. It's so funny. Like it makes me laugh every single time. I legitimately thought some of like the people with Down syndrome actually had Down syndrome. Like I've seen like what some of the guys in Galaxy Quest or Super Troopers. My brother legitimately thought like the two stoners from Super Troopers. One of the guys was in The Ringer. He thought he legitimately was mentally challenged. No, he did such a good job, but it was just like it was so funny. Like that one part where they get back sneaking out like from going to the movies, and the guy goes, "Oh, we were just out getting ice cream," and the guy goes, "When did we get ice cream? Did you get ice cream? Did you get ice cream? I didn't get any ice cream." Like I'm just laughing the whole time in the theater at that point.
I think John has a Johnny Knoxville thing.
Crush. Yes.
Oh, I love John. I love the Knoxville. Anytime
That's
I see him in
definitely a
anything-
man crush.
Okay,
going
like
on.
was it Big Trouble? I loved him in that movie. Johnny Knoxville was great in that movie.
Fair enough. Okay, Todd, what is your number 2?
The entirety of the Monty Python Flying Circus series.
Absolutely. By the way, I would like to say there's a there's a special on Netflix that they do. The ones that are left did a Monty Python live from the O2 in England, and it's called One Down, Four to Go. You can take their dark humor for that, and it is absolutely freaking brilliant. I take the 2 hours out of your life and watch it, and you will if you have not been a Monty Python fan, you will understand it with watching this. It's got all the best skits in it, and it's just skits. So it's not like congratulatory slap yourself on the back. It is just a very well done. Yes, it's a very well done production. And the fact they don't take themselves too seriously, even after that name, I'm like, wow. They talk about the divorces they had. I'm just ripping on each other the entire time. It is amazing. Highly recommend it. Skeeter, what is your number 2?
My number 2, what did I end up sticking with? Because, man, this was tough. So I am a fan of Pauly Shore. And I had, the trifecta of Pauly Shore movies. So like, I'm going with like this trifecta. If they sold it in a DVD set, it would be Son-in-Law, Encino Man, and In the Army Now. Like all 3 of those stacked into one.
And we're gonna have words about In the Army now after this episode.
A 4.
What about Biodome?
Actually,
Biodome was great.
Was bad.
There was a fourth one,
the
but
Grape
it's
Smugglers.
like way here, right? So yeah, Biodome was like the extra set, the extra DVD if you paid for the Blu-ray.
Nice. Okay, so let's do our honorable mentions before we get to our number 1s. Now, here's the rule. We can read them, we cannot explain them at all. You have so that way if someone picks one of their number 1s and it's on your honorable mention, it'll still get talked about. So, okay. I'll start with mine. Huh?
May I make a suggestion?
Please.
For all of our listeners and or viewers, there's going to be a lot of random names flying around. You might want to grab a pen and paper because I guarantee you between the 4 idiots on this show today, we're going to highlight some absolute corkers that you're going to want to watch.
Yes.
Completely agree. Okay, so my honorable mentions goes with Animal House, all the vacation movies, Out Cold, if you like the snowboard movies. I already did that one. Not Another Teen Movie, Naked Gun. This one's controversial, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Kung Pao, Enter the Fist, and Super Troopers. John, what is your honorable mention, sir?
Okay, there you go. Dodgeball and all the Ernest movies.
Oh, you just made Sean happy.
Not bad.
Very good. Todd, what is your honorable mentions?
My honorable mention list, again, I'm older than you guys, but trust me on this. The Kenny Everett Show. Paul Hogan's show, the guy who did Crocodile Dundee.
Really?
He had his own comedy show in Australia. It's brilliant.
Really?
Second City Television. Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
And every single SpongeBob episode ever made.
Yes. Talk about a fart jokes. I mean, oh my gosh. Your breath, it's bad. Skeeter, what is your honorable mentions?
Holy moly. So I'm going to go, my honorable mentions list is a who's who of comedies. Night at the Roxbury, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Police Academy series. Let's see, Grandma's Boy, moving into the newer stuff, We're the Millers. Any movie that was filmed around the snow. There was a movie called Out Cold years ago with Galifianakis. Revenge of the Nerds. What else?
How did we forget that one on this show?
So you had Revenge of the Nerds. You had Porky's, Meatballs. Anything with Bill Murray. My goodness. What else?
Groundhog Day.
There? Groundhog Day.
I forgot Corky Romano.
Oh my gosh.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. So, I mean, just I can't. I could go on all day. Like you guys know, when I research this stuff, I find the that section of the last blockbuster on Earth, and grab them all.
Yeah.
Grab them all. I wish there was a section in Netflix people, or anybody that streams, if you're listening, a idiot comedy section. Please make it happen.
Yeah, that will be watched a lot. I promise you.
I'm going to throw in my very last one. Anything ever made by Mel Brooks.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to go with our number ones, but before I do, I want to get our plugs in real quick. Make sure you subscribe and like this if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're not, if you just listen to us on podcast, click us with 5 stars and give us a good review. That helps us out so much. Go to our Patreon.
That's that many.
Yes. Go to our Patreon. We have just finished our Star Wars series this week. And as of 2 weeks from now, we are starting our Marvel series. We're going through every single Marvel movie. That's for Patreon only types. And we got all sorts of merch coming out. Go to the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the com. We paid extra for it. Buy this wonderful shirt and the Geek Rockstar shirt, because that's freaking awesome. And then take your picture and put it on Facebook or whatever, because that will make my freaking day. Yeah. Okay. So my number one for lowbrow horrible movie that I love is Green Lantern. I mean, Blazing Saddles. Nobody gave me any love on that one. Okay. No, Blazing Saddles, which was one of probably the funniest movie ever made. And it sucks.
The penultimate fart joke scene.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, we're not allowed to enjoy it anymore.
That's a $50 cart.
Slim Pickens in that, and I mean everybody in that was so good. Gene Wilder in it. Although I do wish that Richard Pryor would have been in it, but that's the only way that he would write it, is if he wasn't in it, because he didn't want to take
Cleavon Little killed it though.
Cleavon was amazing.
Was amazing.
But that whole movie, top to bottom, if you get offended, you've been warned. It's offensive. It will
hugely.
It will.
If you get offended at that movie, so what?
If you get if you're easily offended, don't watch it. And I'm being very straight with you. If you have a high tolerance to non-offense and realize that this was made in the 60s or 70s, cool. Then you should definitely sit down and enjoy it if you haven't. I think most of our listeners probably have watched it at least once. John, what is your number one, sir?
My number one is the cinematic masterpiece UHF. That
oh,
dang
good
it.
Lord.
Dang it.
How did you guys forget about UHF? It's so great. You get to drink from the fire hose. What's in the box? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Stupid. You're so stupid. It's such a great movie. You got Conan the Librarian. Don't you know the Dewey Decimal System?
It very
Bobby
much
the Revenge.
It very much was a Weird Al song put to movie, and that's amazing how he did it.
And if you look at it, like how many stars do you remember that were in there? You had Kramer from Seinfeld.
All the cameos, yeah.
Well, you had
Victoria Jackson
was in there. Victoria Jackson, like you have all these people that you're like, oh my gosh, and that person, and that person, and that person, like it's like a who's who of comedy in the 80s.
Now, can I side note this for real quick? And I do want to ask this one question, then we'll get on to the next one. But I have to ask this question: does Weird Al fit into what we've been talking about today? Is he lowest common denominator humor? Is he too smart for that?
No, of course he can. He goes in there. I mean, like how many times do you hear like farts in the beats of his songs?
That's true.
Like it's the hand fart deal. Like
it's made for a 9-year-old. Yeah.
Songs.
Did you ever listen to Dr. Demento?
Yes. I know that's where
Weird
start.
Al came from. And so the answer to your question is yes, he's too smart, and yes, he fits right in.
Very good. Skeeter, you want to
This was probably the hardest, because if you know me, you know I'm a Farley fan. Like anything Chris Farley is in is amazing. But I was like stuck with anything that Will Ferrell is in. So I went with Tommy Boy. Like I stuck with Tommy Boy just because the comedy. Richard was your favorite little rascal out.
Fat guy and
little
or
was it Spanky? Right. So
I wonder if she'd go out with one of the Yankees.
And I do it like, I do the thing. Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers got a hug. Right. Like, dude, Chris Farley was hilarious. He was Belushi. He was Candy. He was all of them wrapped into one gigantic monster of a man. Like, he had his soft side, which kind of was that candy piece, but he had that cartwheel, fall on his face, John Belushi, speedball, monster.
He was his own man, though.
Yeah, he was. Christopher Crosby Farley.
You know, somebody that we didn't mention that does not belong on this list whatsoever, but has showed up in 3 of the movies we've talked about today? Rob Lowe. He's kind of like the straight man in a lot of these. And I didn't realize it until you just said that. The Brothers. I'm like, yeah. And then he was in Wayne's World.
Yeah.
He was in Super Troopers. He was in every horrible movie that we've talked about almost.
Yeah.
And he's the last person on earth we'd mention because he's just the straight man, but he's important.
But he's got a good sense of humor too.
Yeah. Todd, you're number 1, sir.
My number 1 has been mentioned today already, but can't stay away from it. The Benny Hill Show. I've been watching that since I was like a little bitty kid. And,
that explains a lot about you.
Well, funny enough, it was introduced to me by my dad, who was about as straight-laced a guy as there was, but he appreciated this sense of humor. And so my brother and I were both watching that from the time we were little squirts.
Yeah, I wish we could have seen your dad in one of those movies, like the part in Naked Gun. I wish we could have seen your dad on that. That would have been so amazing. Just a post thought. Sorry, if anybody, and I do want to actually brag on this. Todd's dad is a Hall of Fame baseball umpire. And just
went into the
really good all around guy.
But Benny Hill, for those of you that might not know this, played the toy maker in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yes, he did.
Wow, how did I not realize that? Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
That's all I got.
Chitty Bang Bang, I love you. That was a fantastic show. Thanks, guys, for sitting in with us.
I get no kick from champagne.
As always, check us out. We are told you where to find us, but one more time, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the com. We paid extra for it. Do the likes. It helps us out, and we appreciate it a lot. And until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with John, and I'm here with Skeeter, and I'm here with Todd, the voice of the show. Keep on geeking on, guys.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the I Heart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.